I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV. We are here at the Broadband World Forum in Amsterdam for 2012. I am speaking with UTEL's Mr. Frank Kaufhold. How are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent. Listen, for all the first-time viewers and people in bnetTV land, why don't you give us a brief overview of UTEL and what you're doing here at Broadband World Forum?
Yes, UTEL is a research and development company. We're focused on telecommunications in Europe and precisely testing, copper testing and optical fiber testing. What's quite revolutionary is we've developed a new OTDR technology, so we can actually test passive optical networks from the center office without mirrors at the far end, and we're the only people on the planet who can do that.
So my next question generally is what makes you different from your competitors in the marketplace, but you basically just answered the fact that there's nobody else who can do that. You're only people on the planet, so that's
Exactly. I mean, it's quite amusing. Some of the big players like Alcatel, they're integrating OTDRs into their line cards. They can see through a four-way split in a passive optical network.
Okay, yeah.
Which is nothing, right? Because your average split is 64 and will soon be 128. And we can see through 128 with no problems.
So it's always great to talk to the engineers who are also part of the founding members of a company, because you're the people who inevitably make the new technologies come to fruition at a faster pace.
That's right. And there's the smaller companies generally. It's like Darwinism. The small furry animals survive and the big dinosaurs die.
So it does happen. So let's talk about sort of where you see that future growth when it comes to fiber. So you know, a lot of things in the core are still connected. At the edge, we're still talking about a lot of wireless sense. But at the end of the day, you know, off camera, I just asked you, when am I getting fiber to my home? Because I think that it's important for people to still understand that regardless of the amount of throughput that a wireless system is going to give you, there's nothing like fiber.
It's nothing. I mean, it's quite frightening in Hong Kong now. If you live in Hong Kong, you can have fiber broadband, and the basic rate, right, is 100 megabit.
Yes.
That's a basic rate. It's a cheap rate, right? If you want to pay a little bit more, you have 1 gigabit. 1 gigabit, right?
So I mean, it's just an amazing. So I there was an article that was put out in the Daily this morning by bnetTV that talked about the Zettabyte and the amount of information that inevitably is going to be transferred by 2015 at an OTT level.
Yep.
And I think that just sort of brings it right in there. How are you going to consume that amount of data over a wireless system? You're going to have a more of an entrenched.
It's totally impossible, right? It's totally impossible. Fiber will happen, and it is happening. I mean, it's in China it's happening. In France it's happening now. And in the States, Verizon is rolling out fiber. But I don't know if anybody else is.
So Verizon has done a fantastic job. You know, they were, for lack of a better term, lambasted by the financial community for spending as much money as they did in entrenching fiber along the East Coast. And there were let's say the geeks of the ecosystem that just shook their head and said, no, that is the best thing that they could ever do. They're the people who are going to have the customers at the end of the day.
That's certainly true. I mean, it's like roads or railways. You know, the guy who owns the tracks can transport people. The guy who owns the fiber will be providing the service forever.
Okay, so Frank, let's break it down sort of one more time here for our viewers before we end it off. If the continuation of trenching of fiber is going to continue to happen at a faster pace because the costs have come way down, and companies like yourselves, like UTEL, are out there saying, hey, listen, we can splice, move, and check connections.
And what we've added to the equation is we can actually centrally test the fiber. So we cut a great tranche of costs out, and we actually improve the service quality. And that is so important, and it hasn't been done to date.
And so you could take old existing fiber, or dark fiber as we like to call it, and make sure that there are no cracks in it.
That's it. Yeah, and especially on ponds where the network is split, we can actually see through those splits to all the end customers, and we can detect where that network is broken within 1 minute.
So Frank, before we end off here, one last question. When you take a look at a transatlantic fiber cable group, are we still talking about the same types of tools?
Basically, it's an OTDR, specialized in a different direction, but it's the same technology, fundamentally.
Fantastic. Frank, thanks very much for taking the opportunity to speak with us here today at the forum. I hope we get a chance for an update again in the future.
It's a great pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
I've been speaking with UTEL's Mr. Frank Kaufhold here at Broadband World Forum in Amsterdam 2012, and I am Tony Sklar with bnetTV.